Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Hello, radiant being. I am so grateful to be here with you, to celebrate with you. There's so much I want to share. And first, I want to say, stay tuned for the next several upcoming podcast episodes. We already have them recorded. There's some amazing goods that we want to drop here for you. So I want to make sure that you keep this bookmarked. Come back. We're going to be dropping a few a week in the next coming weeks because, again, there's been so much that's been coming through that we want to share with you. I'm lit up. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. There's so much to be excited about. So strap on your seatbelts. Let's go. We're ready to jump in. So today, what I wanted to talk to you about is resiliency in your business and in your life, because there's been a theme that's coming up a lot lately. Gabriel and I even saw it in the Olympics. We're watching what's been going on, and we understand that, their mental health days, quotation marks, are important. And it's important for us to have the downtime, to have the nourishment, to have the reset and the rest. I really feel like that's important. I know that of myself. And even reflecting over the last 22 years, because I'm celebrating 22 years in business, which is so exciting and exceptional. I just can't even believe 22 years. It's just gone by like that, so fast. But in 22 years, I've had to have resiliency. I've had to have a strong mindset. I also needed to be tending to my emotions, my energetics, and my whole self in order to sustain business for 22 years. Because as you can imagine, in 22 years, there's a lot of highs and lows. There's a lot of bumps. There's a lot of churns. There's a lot of turns. There's a lot of twists. There's a lot of unknowns. And then you get up and you go again. And I think that's the key that's missing right now for a lot of people, is it's very quick to give up. And this is where I think mindset comes in a lot right now. And you're going to hear us talk a lot about this in the coming weeks, of really being able to create a strong and healthy mindset that will lift you up out of the chaos or out of the confusion, that will move you forward into whatever the next version of you that you're becoming. Because I think when there's change, we're always becoming the next version of ourselves if we take that change, if we take that step, and if we let the change actually grow us. And that's the key. Every single time in my business over the last 22 years, when I've seen a dip, when there have been no clients, when there's been a change because there were so many clients and then I got overwhelmed and I was doing way too many sessions. There was a time where I was seeing 8 to 10 clients a day consistently for 6 months. Now, that was not sustainable long term, and I needed a pause. I needed to do something different, but it didn't mean that I stepped down from my business. I didn't burn my business to the ground. I created some shifts. I created some movement. I created some differentiation in the business and knew that there were other possibilities. There were other openings that were available if I gave myself the space to look in a different direction, to still be of service and to still do my thing, but to shift how I was doing business or maybe how I was serving. And there's so much that I can share with you about that. But I think the key through all of it was being willing to look up for a moment and create those shifts mentally, internally, and also give ourselves a pause. And I want to talk about that for a moment in the pause, because we just wrapped a really beautiful series, the Foresee Your Future series. And I said to Gabriel, it was one of the best and the worst launches ever. The best because it was the strongest Gabriel and I have ever shown up. It's the clearest we have ever delivered the content. It was spot on. It was succinct. It was powerful. The practices. It was funny. It was incredible. The energy was at an all-time high. I think everybody felt it who attended. I felt it every day. Gabriel and I were so cohesive and harmonized in our creations and our co-creations. It was incredible. And we held the energy steady and strong for 9 days. And we had the kids with us. We didn't have my mom supporting in that moment because they've got their own things that they're moving through with the house finalizing. We didn't have homeschooling support. So we said, okay, kiddos, this is what we need. We need you to help. Mommy and daddy are doing this today. Can we set you up with an activity and you'll be good to go? And sometimes they came in, but Gabriel and I were like, no problem. We'll just go tend to it. It was so seamless and so easy. So that's why I'm saying in that aspect, it was our best. We showed up as our best. We gave it our all. We gave it because we could. We gave because it's our jam. We gave because it's our soul purpose and our soul mission. And this is the work that we both know we're here to do. Why I say it was the worst is because we had the lowest amount of registrations ever in 5 years of running Thrive in Fives. This was our 33rd Thrive in Five, lowest number of registrations. That is shocking. I'm still going through the shockwaves of that. And it can feel disheartening. Even as I say that, I feel this thud in my gut and this drop in my heart. And you can't help, like from a business and being of service perspective, you can't help. I couldn't help but feel, whoa, like people not liking what we were bringing, people not want to work with us, taking it personal, right? I've had to move myself mentally through all of that to continue to still show up and record a podcast and go live and do it all over again. Be like, okay, that was a bust on one level, best and worst, that was a bust. And how did I feel throughout it? And this is the navigation. And I think this is the piece that we're missing sometimes because it's so easy to throw in the towel when things are hard. It's so easy to throw something, let's say throw the whatever, I don't want to say the baby out with the bathwater, but I think that's the saying, but throw it all out, right? Have it be a wash. There have been many times in 22 years where something wasn't working, that business wasn't flowing in the way that I wanted it to, that life and money wasn't flowing in the way that I wanted it to. And there were many times that I had the thought where I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And I would talk to Creator and I'd say, if this can't work, I'm not doing it. I'm going to go do something else. I'll go be a coffee barista somewhere because I love people and I love coffee. I'll go do another type of business somewhere because this SHIT is hard. This is, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm equipped for this. And what's interesting this time around, we've had things be really easy for us over the last 5 years. We've been thriving for real on every level. And this is the first real moment of hard, like for real hard. Even having the babies and launching was easy compared to this and what we're facing right now. And yet at the same time, it's hard and it's easy. So there's this weird paradox and conflicting experience of contrast where I'm like, funny enough, I feel very peaceful. Strangely enough, I know we did our best and I feel so excited and proud that we did our very best. Funny enough, I feel like everything's going to work out. And I can hear these old tricklings of, ego thought, of fear-based thought being like, take it personally. People didn't like it. People don't want it. And I'm like, yeah, but we're in a very different environment right now. What if people really want it, but financially they can't? Then what do we do? These are real questions that we ask ourselves in business, in a life, and in the world and living our purpose. And I'm asking myself these questions. So how can we serve? How can we still show up and serve if the money's not coming in? How do we still show up and fulfill our purpose when the funds and the resources to do that aren't showing up? These are real questions. And I think a lot of people are asking these questions right now. If they have a business, if they're living their purpose, they're asking these questions. I want to be of service as a healer or a soul coach, or maybe they have a brick and mortar business, but if people aren't buying, I got to close my doors. That feels really scary. That feels really wobbly and uncertain. And I think this is where we need to have our resilience. We need to have a strong mindset. We do need to give ourselves the pause for a moment, but then we have to get back up and go again. We can't just fall in the fold. We have to rise again. And so what do we rise into? How do we rise when we're going through something like that? And I'm going to share what I've been doing, and maybe it'll be helpful for any of you that are listening and this resonates, is I've been really coming back to my truth. Why am I here? What is my purpose? How am I to serve? And the answer is the same. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to light up the world. I'm here to shine. So can I keep doing that? Yes. Would I keep doing that even if I didn't make money? Yes. So then I go, okay, so this goes back to 22 years ago when I first started my business. And I'm like, well, if I needed the money to start my business back then, 22 years ago, I had a job. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go get a job right now, but we're looking at other options. Maybe we go buy a brick and mortar business. Maybe we go buy something. Maybe we invest in, we've got this blueprint that we've invested in. Maybe we focus more of our energy and our time there to help other people create more money and income and flow, while that provides the base foundation. I remember this from 22 years ago. The Ministry of Health provided the base, the net, the foundation, the financial means for me to have my life taken care of from a base root chakra perspective. Then I took some of that money and I started to invest it in my business. And I slowly built my business, slowly but surely built my business. That was extra time, extra energy, but I loved it so much that it felt like it was worth it. Maybe that's what some people need to be doing right now. Maybe that's what we need to be doing right now. If people are in a space where they're like, I would love to work on my personal development. I would love to work on my intuition. And maybe I can't right now for financial reasons. Then how can we still be of service and help people and still have base foundation taken care of? And so these are the questions to ask. It's not to abandon your purpose. It's not to abandon what you're here to do or how you're meant to serve. You keep standing in that no matter what. And I'm saying this for myself. I'm going to keep standing in that no matter what. I just might have to shift my focus for the next little while. We might have to shift our focus off of the personal development, spiritual development side of things, even though that will always be there. We might have to shift our focus and onto something else. Maybe I could heavily promote my divine wisdom cards. Maybe we, like I said, promote this blueprint. Maybe we buy a brick and mortar business. Maybe we just go all in on a retreat center physically. There are options and opportunities and possibilities if we're willing to open, let go of the old, let go of what's not working, and continue to keep ourselves open. If we close down, if we shut things down internally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically even, we're now closing off to the divine flow of something new coming in. And I believe we're in a really cool time right now, even though it feels scary and it feels uncertain and it feels wobbly and it feels crazy and it feels uncertain and wobbly and uncertain and wobbly and uncertain, right? And cancel, delete all of that, but it feels like that at times. This is a really great opportunity for new possibilities, for new opportunities to rise. And I think if we could lean into that, give ourselves a pause, go take a rest if you need to. I had to recalibrate for an entire day because my mind was starting to have its way with me. I could hear those old thoughts creeping in of like, just forget it, like close the door, shut it down, right? I heard it like a little trickling, a little echo. And I was like, that's interesting that it's not a loud blaring speaker in my head like what it would have been maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. This was more like an echo. To me, that was progress. To me, that's growth. That means I've grown in a way, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, business-wise, I've grown that's just an echo now. It's not the thing that's going to stop me. I'm not going to listen to that. I know what that is. That's the shadow. That's the ego. That's the fear. And I know well enough to not listen to that. This is growth. This is progress. So there I can celebrate again and say, this was the best launch ever because look at the progress. Now it's my job to refocus in on the things that I teach, the things that I lead. Can we stay focused and steady in our creation without seeing the proof, without seeing the evidence of the manifestation? This is one of the hardest things for humanity to face and to do. How do I stay focused on the manifestation and creation if I have no evidence of it whatsoever? If I'm not seeing it? We want to help thousands of people. We believe that our work and our framework that we have to creating a thriving life is one of the best that's out there. And I want thousands of people to experience that. Can I hold steady in the feeling of that, in the truth, in the knowing of that, through something that feels really sticky, that feels really uncertain, that feels very destabilizing? Can I hold steady in the manifestation, in the creation, in the vision that I have? You have a vision for yourself. You have a vision for your life as well. You have manifestations and creations that I know you dream about. You have on your vision boards. You have in your journals. You've thought about a cajillion times. And then we enter the world. And right now the world feels very interesting. I'll just say that. Can you hold steady? Can you sharpen your mindset? Can you build inner resilience? Can you rise to the occasion? Can you lean in? And this is where I actually believe that the spiritual personal development work is of utmost importance right now, but it almost seems like it's the thing that gets put on the back burner. Because all of a sudden, and I remember this from when I worked at the Ministry of Health, so I can relate to it. My focus when I worked at the Ministry of Health, it was like dire straits moments. I shared this before. I remember counting pennies to get on the subway, to get to work. So dire straits moments are like, I need money to eat, to get to work, to put gas in the vehicle. I need money as a sustainability. I need root base chakra to be taken care of right now, for real. The last thing that people want to focus on when that's happening is their personal and spiritual development. We're looking outside. Where's that money going to come from? Where's that thing going to come from? I remember that. I remember that feeling. And yet, Thank Creator, I was also simultaneously, I got a loan and I invested in the college, the transformational college that I went to become a holistic healthcare practitioner. That was a $14,000 investment for 2 years. That was huge back then, 25 years ago. But I did it because it was what my soul was calling me to do. And I knew things would turn around. That's one thing I've always had. Even if I've stretched myself financially, even if I've over invested in something, maybe the money wasn't there. But I was like, I just know this is going to turn around. I just know, I have faith that something magical, something beautiful is going to turn around. The abundance is going to come. Something awesome is going to come from this. That is one mindset piece that I've always had. And I feel that even now in this moment. So when I go back to that time period, 25 years ago, when I first invested big in myself, I'd finished university. I had tens of thousands of dollars owing to student loans. I was working at the Ministry of Health, making not very much. And yet I knew, and I'm so grateful that I invested in that program, because that spiritual and personal growth, energetic growth that I was doing at that time, working on my energy, working on chakras, working on my mindset, working on my emotions, learning how to navigate really big things, doing counseling, doing spiritual psychotherapy, doing all of the things that mattered, doing the deep dive work, healing my past, clearing house, manifesting and creating, even though they didn't call it that. We were working on all of that almost daily. I am so grateful that I had that as a part of my experience, because I truly believe that work that I did, that's the stuff that allowed me to rise up out of the chaos, allow me to come up and see through the times that were really painful and really uncomfortable and really uncertain. So I'm echoing this even back to myself right now, because I think that in times like this, where we are going through the waves of pressure or uncertainty, chaos and confusion, wobbliness in the world, going back to base foundation, needing to have the money piece taken care of, I get all that 100%. And don't throw out the personal, spiritual, energetic growth components. That's when you need it most. Gabriel and I have said this so many times. Watch clients go through changes. Watch them change jobs, move locations, do something different with their family, open a new business, complete change. And that's when they take a pause on their spiritual, mental, emotional, energetic, and personal growth. They might still be doing it on their own, but that's the time that they take a pause on it, because they're like, no, I have to focus over here. And I get that. I totally get that. And yet I can 100% say that personal energetic growth, the spiritual growth, is of utmost importance, especially in those times of uncertainty and wavering. This is the time that people actually need what Gabriel and I have, and yet it seems to be the thing that's put on the back burner. I'm saying this for myself too, that I know in this moment of growth and change, this is where I need to dive even deeper and even higher into my own personal, energetic, and spiritual growth. This is where I need to sharpen my mind even more. This is where I need to work on mindset even more. This is where I need to work on the emotional navigation system even more. This is where I need to strengthen my spiritual resolve and connection even more. This is where I need to expand my energy field instead of contract, because the world's contracting, even more. This is where I really need the personal growth right now. I'm saying this for myself because I feel it. I get it. I have such compassion for what people are experiencing out there right now, because I feel it. Intuitively, empathically, I feel it, and yet I know there's a way through. And the way through is to not bury our head in the sand. The way through is to not go flailing around. The way through is not just focusing on getting the money piece taken care of, although that's important. I get that. But imagine a world where you could do both, where you could have the money piece taken care of and you're growing energetically, spiritually, and personally. Imagine where you're focused on the personal, the energetic, the internal growth, and it starts to create the new wealth and the new income and the new prosperity. That's the sweet spot. That's always been the sweet spot. So at this time of great change, do not abandon yourself. Do not abandon your spiritual practice. Do not abandon your personal growth. I would say dive deeper into that now than ever before, because we know that internal work that we do is the very thing that allows the new energy of what's to come in the external. It doesn't come external first. We might react or respond to the external changes that are happening and things that are going on. We internalize it, but then it stays there if we're not doing that personal, internal, spiritual growth. It stays there and it stays stuck in us. And I'm saying this even for myself. It's like a pep talk for myself today too, where that internal work, if I just take a pause and I use the tools that we teach in Thrive Evolution, and I use the tools that we teach in our Light Leadership, and I use the tools that I've known for 22 plus years. I've been meditating since I was 14, so that's a really long time, 1992. Use all those tools. I'm going to pull them all out right now. Empty the bag. Let's do it. So that I can utilize all those tools to really change my internal, to really begin to rise up, so that I can become an even greater version of myself. I can lead more powerfully. I can show up more powerfully. And I'm going to keep doing the things that I love to do because it's who I am. You have this too. You have a version of you that's asking to come out, that's asking to be birthed. What are you doing about it? Or are we just getting stuck and fixated and stressed on the financial crap show that might be presenting right now? That's not how we're going to get through that, is by focusing on it. We get through it by doing the internal shifts that are necessary, then rise up and create again. So I hope this has resonated. I hope this has made a difference. This has been such a powerful conversation. Like I said, we've got some really amazing episodes coming up for you to really make a difference in your world, in your work, in your business, in your purpose, in who you are. And if you have any curiosity about Thrive Evolution, message me directly. Find me on social media. Respond to something, some way of how you got connected to this podcast. We have so much that we want to give and we want to serve, and we want you to be able to rise up through whatever this craziness is that the world seems to be going through or headed into right now. There's a way to be able to rise up and through it. And that's our individual and collective, spiritual, personal, energetic growth, our resolve and our resiliency to then create again. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you all. And I'm sending you all so much love and so much goodness and so much nourishment. I can't wait to connect again soon. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!